Hey guys, welcome to Solo ReacTalk. Today I'm going to be reacting to Lin Fami History of Japan. Today's episode is called Life of Early Japanese Women. So much cheating. Okay. If you want to check out my previous reactions, remember the playlist card will be at the top. Just click on it and you'll be able to access them. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
If I could describe in one sentence the life of an upper-class woman in the Heian period, it would be extreme boredom, interrupted by casual cheating. Lots and lots of casual cheating. I'll be talking about Heian women and marriage and promiscuity in the next few videos, so click subscribe and the bell to follow along. When I think of Heian women, I picture Scarlett Johansson stuck behind bars. Let's be clear, we're talking about aristocratic women here, upper-class women in the Heian court. Peasant women lived differently, more starvingly, and with a bit more misery. The life of an upper-class woman was a life of contradictions. She had more freedom than in most other times in Japanese history, but couldn't even leave the house. She was considered both inferior to men and more valuable. Okay, number one. Upper-class women had lives of luxury and high status, but at the same time they had almost no freedom to move about. It was like they were under house arrest. Not literally, of course, but women mostly stayed at home. You see, a woman was expected to be hidden from outside men. The only men she saw were her father and husband. Women had private quarters and stayed concealed behind screens. The only time women ventured outside, to be social, was to attend the occasional festival or to visit a temple. Their experience with social interaction was like my experience with sex. It happened rarely, and when it did, it was over too quickly. They did have social interactions, though. Most of it mouthless. Didn't involve a mouth. Actual talking through the mouth was done with her parents, husband, female servants, or the occasional female visitor. Socializing with other people was mostly done through a brush. She would take a brush and poke people with Morse code to communicate. No, she didn't. Court ladies wrote letters and poems to communicate outside their home bubble. Sometimes they would get male visitors, joyous occasions, I'm sure, but even in those cases, they'd be behind a screen or in another room. They'd speak with the visitor through notes or through a female servant. I know, right? Imagine talking to people not by talking, but by writing only. What a world, the Heian. Okay, so women didn't get to do much socializing, but they were rich. They lived in big houses. There's always stuff to do around the house, right? At least they weren't totally bored. No, they were totally bored. These were proper ladies, and a proper lady didn't do housework. She had proper servants for that. Servants also took care of her children. So put yourself in her shoes, right? You're stuck at home. There's no internet, there's no Netflix, no housework to do, no one to talk to. What the hell would you do all day? Actually, leave a comment below about what you would do. I'm curious. The boredom was real. Nothing changed from day to day. Women were known to sit for hours just staring outside or at the wall. It was bizarre. They'd wait, yearning for a visitor or a letter or a poem to arrive from whoever they were pen pals with. One woman wrote in a diary an entry that I absolutely love. 17th day of the month. There is a slow drizzle. My direction today is unlucky, and so I can expect no visitors. The world seems a dreary, cheerless place. Ugh. Women tried different rich people ways to have fun, like playing Go, calligraphy, music, and sewing. But most famously, they wrote stuff. A lot. And thank the old gods and the new for that, because their writings opened the paper door and allowed us to peer into the halls of the Heian court. At the same time, we gotta be careful because most of what we know about Heian women is from writings of distinguished women. These were people of high prestige. They wrote from a more privileged perspective than their peers. So, women absolutely crushed men in the literature department. Women made the Japanese written language popular in Japan. Contrary to most cultures, famous Heian authors were almost all women. Why? There's some debate on this. It could be because men were expected to write seriously, while women could be more creative. Men were in government, and they wrote in Chinese because that was the language of official documents. Women were not allowed in government, so they didn't learn Chinese. Instead, they wrote in the simpler, brand new Japanese language of hiragana. Now, in truth, many women did know Chinese, they just pretended not to. It was women who led the spread of the Japanese script that Japan still uses today. While men wrote dull government edicts, women wrote all kinds of things: diaries, poems, fiction, non-fiction. Thanks to women with excess free time, new Japanese styles of writing and poetry flourished, pushing aside the old Chinese styles. There were even male authors who pretended to be female so they could write something not mind-numbingly dull. Number 2. Heian women were considered both inferior and more valuable than men. Chinese Confucian teachings and Chinese Buddhist teachings at the time weren't playing around. They hammered home the idea that women were inferior. Buddhist teachings claimed that a woman had to reincarnate into a man before ascending higher in the path to enlightenment. Women were banned from government. At the same time, they were considered more valuable than men because of marriage politics. The Fujiwara clan famously married their daughters into the imperial family and secured 200 years of control over the government. Inheritance of property usually went to women over men, giving them significant economic freedom. Yeah, they couldn't leave the house, but they had it pretty good. Violence against women was prohibited. A woman could climb the social ladder much faster than a man. A low-born girl from the provinces could catch the eye of some big shots in the capital, get married, and boom, she's swapping poems with the prince. A low-born boy from the provinces? I have a better chance with Scarlet than he had with ladies from the capital. A wife didn't actually join her husband's clan. She kept her own clan name and upon death was buried among her own clan members. Now up to this point, we haven't talked about the most exciting aspects of a woman's life: relationships, marriage, and cheating. Lots and lots of cheating. Like today, good fashion attracted guys, and the Heian period had a pretty imaginative fashion sense. White skin was considered attractive, so women used rice powder to paint their faces and necks pure white. Funny enough, white teeth was not considered attractive, and teeth looked kinda yellow against that white skin, so women blackened their teeth, making their smiles look like these black holes that can swallow your soul. They plucked their eyebrows, replacing them with painted eye blotches. Long straight hair was beautiful, so they just let their hair go, meters in some cases. A woman took care in coordinating the colors of her outfits and putting together the right ensemble to reflect her personality. Men couldn't look upon women's faces, so they had to gauge women by their outfits or sleeves. Sleeve fetish was rampant. In a life of crippling boredom, relationships with men were freaking exhilarating. Marriage was obviously important and they wanted to marry someone of high status. But the most common relationship between men and women was not marriage. It was extramarital affairs. Heian men and women slept with people outside their marriage all the time. It was expected, you just had to do it discreetly. It was a time of sexual freedom. Being a virgin was not good. In fact, people were suspicious of virgins. They thought a girl who remained a virgin for too long was possessed by an evil spirit. We'll dive into marriages and bedroom hanky-panky in the next couple videos. It'll be interesting, I promise. So don't forget to like the video and click subscribe and the bell, and share the video around. So there's a special guy I want to thank. His name is Tercero. He's a viewer and he actually volunteered his time to do the research for this video and the coming videos about Heian marriages and relationships. Please say thank you to Tercero. He's doing great work. Also, shout out to this week's new patrons: Lee Hamrick, Isaac Kubaka, Louis Gariepi, John Partica, and Mickey Wiki. That has a nice ring to it. Alright, much love guys. Spread the knowledge.
Okay, guys, that was Life of Early Japanese Women, So Much Cheating. The lives of aristocratic, rich and influential and powerful women. It looked very boring. Staying in your house, you can't really talk to people. You have to talk to people through a third party or through letters. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what would I do if I was in their position. Honestly, I don't know. But since Lin Fami is saying that sex was a recreational activity that people had to, well, you're expected to do it, I think I'll just delve into that. I'll do it as much as possible with my significant other, my husband, or if I was the man, I would do it with my wife as much as possible. But if it's the go thing to do in that time period, then so be it. Let's go. I'd also join in the hanky panky activities. But other than that, I don't know. what I find interesting is that they did, incorporate using the Japanese writing system, that they improved on it, they made it famous, they made it much more popular, and having it, have recognition in Japan during those times, where the women were writing their poetry, their stories, and all other forms of literature and entertainment through using the writing systems. That's also very interesting and important to learn about. So yeah, being rich, you are secured, you have your food, you have your house, you have your security financially. But if you were a peasant woman, or you were very poor, at least you could go outside. That's something, I guess. You could go to far off places and walk around and go to the beach maybe. I don't know if they had recreational activities at the beach. I'm not entirely sure about that part, but I think they had much more freedom in terms of walking around, and probably talking to other men and women without them having to look down at their sleeves, or have to be talking through a third party, or sending letters, unlike the rich women of Japan. But yeah, their life was it was boring. It was very boring. Guys, yeah, that's it for today. Remember, if you like the video, please give me a like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Click on the notification bell if you want to be up to date with my latest videos, and I will see you next week Tuesday. Sorry, Tuesday. Yeah, okay, bye bye.